So I'm just going to have a quick catch up today on sleep and the menopause, or the lack of sleep and the menopause. It's 6:30 a.m. I'm up and out and sitting in my work car park, ready for the day. I've had a particularly interesting night's sleep. And I feel like it's been like this, from the start of the menopause, in terms of disrupted sleep, my brain not switching off, physically needing to get up and go to the toilet in the middle of the night, and anxiety where you constantly going over the day or thinking about the next day, and all these little things that have a major impact. Since I've been in the menopause, sleep has been a major factor to how I feel and how I'm coping in any given day, whereas before I used to power through on five or 6 hours sleep. I could go 3-4 days on 5 or 6 hours sleep, and now if I have less than 7.5 hours sleep, I am struggling mentally, to the point where I come in and I am present physically, but mentally I know I'm not capable of doing anything too challenging on a given day, if that makes sense. I can come in and go through the motions, but I can't conceptually do anything new. I can't even, as basic as it sounds, work out what my priorities could be, or break down some objectives I need in a given day. I am very much reactive. I'll go through my emails, answer them, I'll look at my to-do list, and I'll start working through bits. I get very easily distracted when I've had very little sleep, because my concentration is even worse, and I just, from the minute I get in on a day like that, I want it to be home time, because I know it's going to be a real challenge to get through the day. But what I do is I throw myself into work. I throw myself in to occupy my mind and keep myself busy, and just basically take one step and another step, because I know I'm not capable of much else. In terms of what helped me wind down and drift off, I've done lots of research on this, and I'm sure everybody has done lots of research on this. I've done the meditations, I've looked at different types of meditations, I've done the breathing exercises to try and calm myself, calm my brain. And it just seems to be ironic that the minute you want to try and calm your brain is the minute your brain can't calm down. You say to yourself, let's not think of anything, let's calm down, deep breaths. And then I start thinking about things that have happened through the day. And a lesson or a trick that I was once given was, ask your brain, what do I want to think about next? And the minute you ask your brain, right, what am I going to think about next, eyes closed, your brain goes blank. But it's having the focus to carry on doing that. So in terms of strategies, deep breathing, getting enough oxygen into the body, enough oxygen into the brain, to help it to relax and to help it sleep, because oxygen is a key factor. Getting it into the brain, deep breathing, holding, controlled, to give your brain enough oxygen to help it sleep and rest throughout the night. Meditation, I am not so great at. I do try and not go on social media when I'm in bed, but sometimes I just can't help it because, again, my mind's worrying and I think of ideas and I think of something I need to buy. So I'll go onto Amazon or I'll go onto the shop that I need to, and, you know, I put things in my basket and I'm buying it. So it's a good time for catching up, but I'm trying to make myself more structured. Because I get up so early for work, I try and make myself go to bed 7.5 hours, and that's lights out 7.5 hours before I need to get up. Invariably, I would say out of the last month, there's maybe 2 occasions where I haven't woke up through the night. So my waking up, my sleep pattern is definitely more disrupted. I wake up, I go to the toilet, or I wake up because I'm hot and bothered, or I wake up and then I just toss and turn. And I try not to look at the camera or at the clock. I try not to see what time it is, because then psychologically I'm up against it in terms of thinking I need to get back to sleep, to get some more sleep before I get up, or I'm going to be kaput the next day. And if I do look at the clock, I'm either extremely happy because it's 12:30 or 1:45 and I think, oh, I've got hours to go, or I'm really pissed off because it's 4:30 and I think, I'm up in half an hour. And you might not think half an hour makes much of a difference, but it makes all the difference in the world when it comes down to it. I do avoid, one thing I've tried to avoid, and I've done some research on this for myself, is I try to avoid eating at least 2 hours, but if I can do it 3 hours before going to bed, because I find if my stomach is full for some reason, that makes it harder for me to sleep. You know, you would think, oh, you've got a full stomach, you're satisfied, you go to bed, you're able to sleep, but no, it has the opposite effect for me. So in terms of my strategies, I will definitely do a little bit of deep breathing. I will try and be mindful rather than meditate and get myself into a relaxed state. And by being mindful, what I'll do is I will cut out as much of the social media as I can, because I don't want that stimulant. You know what it's like, you go in and you see something and it piques your interest, and then you want to learn more from it and you start doing some research on the internet. And I will cut out, that's easier, I will cut out eating food for at least 2 hours, but I try to make it 3 hours before I go to bed. So those are sort of the 4 key areas that I work on in terms of getting myself off to sleep at night. And last night, key example, I woke at 2:30, went to the toilet, came back to bed, and I felt like I tossed and turned for quite a long time. And then before I knew it, the alarm had gone off. And in between the waking up and using the bathroom and going back to bed, I had the most vivid dreams imaginable. They were quite scatterbrain, a bit like how my brain seems to be functioning at the moment. So it was quite interesting because I was able to recall it and talk to my daughter about it this morning. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that whilst it was fresh in my mind. Have a great day, and I'll drop another little video later.